Hello, my name's Glossy Pigeon and welcome to my Minecraft Bedrock commands tutorial series. In this episode we're going to be going over two related commands, and that's the Testforblock and Testforblocks command. Now, very similar outcomes, with Testforblock testing for an individual block in a location, whereas Testforblocks checks if an area matches another area. Well, there's no time like the present, so let's get started. The Testforblock command gives a response of either true or false. This allows us to use it in line with command blocks. If you'd like to know more about command blocks, you can find that in another episode. This repeating command block, when it outputs true, it will then activate this comparator, which will light up this redstone lamp. We start with /testforblock and then our coordinate. Today I'm going to use relative coordinates, but you can also use hard position coordinates. And then I'm going to test for a gold block. Because this command block is on unconditional and always active, because the command block can now detect a gold block below it, it's outputting a redstone signal to the comparator, which is activating the redstone lamp. When I remove the gold block, you can see it automatically updates and stops activating the redstone lamp. If we run the exact same command but from the player's chat, we can see we actually get an output on our screen saying that we successfully found that block. But if we run it again when not stood on top of the gold block, we can see it didn't find it. The Testforblocks command is only ever so slightly more complicated. In this command we start with /testforblocks and then our origin coordinate, which is our first point. Here I've gone for 53 minus 60, 90, and then our end point for our origin. In this example I'm using these four gold blocks, starting from this corner going to this corner. We then only need one additional set of coordinates, and that's the starting point. That's because the Testforblocks command actually checks the same area as the origin. And because these two sets of blocks actually match, we can see we have a redstone output. But if I remove one of the gold blocks from this side, we can see it no longer matches. However, I can also do the same here. There's actually two further variations that we can do. At the end we can put all. This isn't necessarily needed because it actually tests for every block and make sure it matches, including air blocks. However, the Testforblock command actually defaults to all anyway, so it's not actually needed. However, if we replace all with mast, air blocks in the source region are ignored in the destination region. This means that the two areas don't actually have to perfectly match. Because this is an air block in our origin region, in our destination region, it isn't actually tested for. And that's actually all there is for the Testforblock and Testforblocks commands. I actually use this quite heavily in my Space Invaders build. If you're actually interested in seeing that, you can check that out in another video. And if you've got any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. But until next time, take care and may your picks never break. Whoop!